my internet. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just lost chat. So, who was supposed to run against John Bozeman? What about Rick Crawford? What about Rick Crawford? You know, because Rick Crawford's also running. I don't know how much money he's got in his reelection campaign, but who's going to run against Crawford from the Republican Party? Well, nobody. That's what the problem is. It's almost impossible to find somebody to run against these people. And when somebody does run against these people, the next thing you know is that they've got 2 elections to go through. But who's going to run against John Bozeman? I don't know. It's crazy. So anyway, I lost chat. I'm very, very sorry about that. So let's get back to this. If you can get behind this idea, please share the video and send it out to other people. Now, I needed to make it clear that people are going to be uncomfortable with the idea. People are going to be very, very uncomfortable with the idea of voting for something that's outside of the norm. And what I said was, you're going to still want to vote for your favorite member of Congress because you think that they're fighting for you the best. The problem is that nobody's on your side. They're on the side of special interest. And they just going to talk to you, and they're going to sell you on their ideas. And it doesn't matter whether they're Democrat or whether they're Republican. They're just going to sell you what you want to hear, and then they're going to go do whatever they want to do. And it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, they're all going to do the exact same thing. They don't care what is best for America. They never reach across the aisle. They know whose district is voting. They have already determined that more than 90% of the districts in the United States of America have already been settled on who's going to vote Democrat and who's going to vote Republican. So that means that they have what they call the swing states and the swing districts. That's why gerrymandering is so important to these folks. The problem is that gerrymandering is, simply put, it is one of those things where they draw congressional lines so that, like, if you're a Republican, I'm going to just show you, if you're a Republican, you don't draw all of the Republicans in one district. You only want 51% of the gerrymandering to get those because you want those other Republicans, the other 49% of Republicans, in Democratic districts because you don't want to win by a lot. You want to win 2 districts rather than just win 1 district. So that's why gerrymandering came about. They were like, hey, look here, we don't need to win all of the votes in a county. We just need to win by 1 vote in every single county. So we're going to count all these Republican households and we're going to draw a line around them. We're going to go, hey, there we go. That's 50% plus 1. And then we're going to run over here and we're going to go 49% of the people over here are red. But if we flip 2% from 49 to 51, we can win that district too. So then they go sink all of their money where they think they have a chance to win, and that's where gerrymandering came from. But the whole 9 yards is that's how you win because you don't have to beat the incumbents by a lot. You just have to beat them by a little bit. And it's a shame because we keep sending the same people over there because they keep selling us this BS story. It's crazy. Like I said, everybody in Congress has picked a side that's not yours. They're going to be okay as well. I needed to make sure. I forgot to say something in this video. Why is America going to be okay? America is going to be okay because America has set up all these government agencies that run the day-to-day business of our country. And it's kind of sad to say, but it's true, that in the long run, the thing that has affected our country the most is the regulation from all of these federal agencies like the Department of Interior, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Education, the Department of Finance, the Department of this, that, and the other thing. Those people really run the country. So if we send 470 new people up to Congress, they can't really mess it up. And even if they do mess it up, are they going to mess it up more than Congress is messing it up right now? I don't think so. Because Congress is inept. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. They haven't addressed the border issue. They haven't addressed the folks that are our enemies around the world. They haven't addressed the gas and oil situation. They haven't addressed climate change. They haven't addressed, the Department of Interior, oil and gas problems, our monetary instability. They haven't addressed anything that has to do with the economy, the runaway inflation. They haven't done anything. And that's an absolute shame. So then finally, I just ask people to go ahead and have some guts, because it's going to take guts. And I said, this is going to take guts, lots of guts. You know that Congress is dysfunctional and inept, so you're going to have to suck it up and do something about it. Don't vote for anybody that's currently in Congress. We can do this if we have a little resolve, if we get the word out and we all do the right thing. Bottom line is everybody in Congress has to go this November. I thought that was pretty eloquent. And I recorded that like 100 times last night in order to get it right, because my video editing skills absolutely suck. I'm horrible about that. And the reason I'm horrible about it is because I haven't taken the time to learn that, and it's more difficult than I ever thought it would be. So I have to do everything in one take. That's why I do a live show and I don't do pre-broadcast, because everybody likes live better, and you can watch me mess up like I just did, and I don't have to be absolutely perfect, because you know that I'm coming to you live rather than having a beautifully edited piece. Now, here's the 3 things that I wanted to talk about. There were problems with this. Number 1, somebody pointed out today that there's going to be a dilution of votes. So that if there's 5 people running for Congress, and we spread our votes over the bottom 4, that means that whoever that 5th person is only has to win. So if there's 100 votes and there's 20 votes, 20, 20, 19, and this person gets 21, then this person wins. And that person most likely is going to be the representative that currently has the seat, because they have familiarity with the voters and everybody goes with name recognition. So somebody does have a point about the dilution of the votes. That is a real concern with doing something this. That's why you got to pick them off in the primaries. If the Democrats and the Republicans pick off all of these incumbents in the primary, then we don't have to worry about them getting to the general election in November, because the person that's sitting in Congress will be defeated before they get to that election. So Democrats, as they go out and vote for who's going to be representing the Democrats in the general election, that has to happen in the primaries. That's one of the reasons why I'm putting this video out right now, because we're getting into primary season. Some states have already had primaries, but we're behind. That's why we're doing this. Number 2, come to find out, nobody cares. Nobody cares if Congress is screwed up. Nobody cares how much money Congress spends. Nobody cares as long as it doesn't personally affect them. And I got news for you. What Congress does personally affects everybody. When they spend your money, when they have to increase taxes, when they let an open border policy, and listen, I'm not against open borders. I'm all for open borders. I just want everybody to have an open border come through a gate. And the reason I want people to come through a gate is because we have to make sure that we have the infrastructure to support people. We have to make sure that if we have 100,000 people coming through our borders, whether it's the northern border, southern border, east or western border, whether they're coming here by boat, plane, or by foot, that we have the infrastructure to support them. We need hospitals. We need schools. We need jobs. We need housing. We need an electrical grid. We need gas. We need internet for all of these folks that are coming. You just cannot continually add people into our society without making sure that we have an adequate infrastructure, because if we have a hospital that'll hold 100 people, let's say we have a town of 100,000 people and we have a hospital that'll hold 100 people. If you add another 100,000 people to that, the hospital will not have enough available services to take care of the population. That's the way that it is. Now, that's just economy. That's just the way that economics works. If you don't have the services, then you can't take care of the people. And the same thing goes for butts in seats at schools. The same thing goes for, do we have enough housing? The same thing goes to, do we have enough electricity? Do we have enough gas? Do we have enough internet? So I'm all for an open border, as long as we have the infrastructure and our businesses, our hospitals, our schools, our infrastructure for the federal and state governments can take care of those people. So I'm all for an open border as long as all of those people go through a gate. And then when we go, hey, look here, man, we don't have the hospital space or we don't have the school space. You're not allowed to go to Nebraska. Or you're not allowed to go to California. Or you're not allowed to go over here because there's not enough infrastructure to take care of you. And that number needs to be regulated because everybody in the world, there's 7 billion people in the world. Not all 7 billion people can come to the United States of America. And it just can't be people from Central America. It's got to be people from all over. There's people in Europe right now that want to come here. There's people in Japan that want to come here. There's people in Africa that want to come here. There's the people from the Baltic states that want to come here. All of those people are in line and they don't have the availability of putting on a pair of shoes and walking here. It's not fair to them. That's all I got to say about that. And then the last thing is, then there are those people. All right, so the problems with this are, number one, dilution of votes, right? Being able not to, you dilute the vote and then they get reelected. Number two, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't think that Congress affects them, although Congress does. And the third thing is people that care too much. People that want to destroy this idea of Mickey in the Middle and Operation535.com because the simple fact of the matter is they're like, the best people for Congress are the people that I'm going to send up to Congress. Stop. You guys are killing me. This is absolutely ludicrous. You're so steeped in politics that you don't really care what your political party's doing. You're so steeped in politics that you don't really care of the unintended consequences of Congress spending $31.5 trillion that we don't have. You don't really care that we don't have a southern border policy that's actually effective. You don't care about global warming and the oil companies and having an off-ramp that's actually sustainable from oil and gas and coal to a sustainable renewable energy policy. You don't care about any of that. You just want your person to be elected. And so don't come and cry to me about a $31.5 trillion debt. Don't come crying to me about not being able to reach a compromise on the southern border. Don't come crying to me about this global warming policy that says, hey, look here, everybody needs to get a car. Guess what? Everybody that's on board with that, if everybody in America had an electrical car, you would not have air conditioning in the summertime nor heat in the wintertime because we don't have the infrastructure to support that. If you, your spouse, and your 2 high school kids had electrical cars, your house would not be able to handle the charging requirements to get you to and from work. So don't give me that bullshit. And there's no talking to either side. It's like, you guys love oil and gas. Well, you guys love renewable energy. Who's in the middle? There's nobody in the middle. So you keep picking your politics. You keep picking your side. You keep picking your special interest. You keep picking your one thing, and to hell with everything else. That's shameful, and you should be ashamed of yourself. This effort, Operation 535, is about more than that. It's about breaking those special interest bonds. It's about breaking the political parties. This is about getting 470 new people up there. I'm going to vote for the most qualified. No, you're not. You know who's qualified? American citizens. You're saying that nobody else in the country is as smart as you. And that if your person doesn't win, you're going to be mad and you're not going to help them. I would rather have flight attendants. I would rather have garbage people. I would rather have moms or dads or business owners or a doctor or a lawyer or a small business person. I'd rather have somebody that owns a gun range. I would rather have anybody except the people that are up there right now that are so steeped in the political parties and the special interest groups that they don't give a damn about America and doing what's right for America. I'm way over time. But that's going to be the show tonight. I'm sorry I yelled and I'm sorry I got on my soapbox, but this is important to me. If there's anybody still here, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm sorry that I lost the connectivity and the page that's got the comments on there. I hope you're still with me, but if you're not, I totally understand that. Sorry about last night. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for going over my speech with me. I greatly appreciate it. It wasn't as long as Joe Biden's or any of Trump's speeches, so I feel good about that. I will going to be back tomorrow night. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, 9 p.m. Central, wherever I am, and right there wherever you are. Embrace your middleness, America. We need you. Take care. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, where am I going? There we go. Take care.